Hello everyone, hope you're doing well, and welcome back to the channel. And this is going to be a different type of reaction here. This is sent in by R Young. Who, by the way, R Young, you send me a lot of stuff, and I click on a lot of the stuff you send me, which means you're sending in good stuff. So, shout out to you, my friend. But this is a video where I have actually been recommended this video, not by subscribers up until now, but I have been recommended this video in my YouTube feed for, it seems like the past 2 or 3 years. Now, this came out on November 10th, 2019, and it's on the channel LAD Bible Stories, I think it's called. But anyway, it's called Old Soldier Meets Young Soldier. And I have been wanting to watch this for quite some time. I've just never clicked on it because I wanted to give this the proper respect that it deserves. You know, because it's two soldiers from completely different generations talking to each other. And even if this wasn't a video, if I just knew that these two were talking, I would just love to be a fly on the wall. So I feel like this is the YouTube video version of like being a fly on the wall for a conversation like this. And I know it's probably going to get deep and perhaps emotional, but I've been dying to watch this. I just never really found the proper time to truly pay attention for all 13 minutes of this thing and give it the respect it deserves. But because R Young, you have requested that I react to this, then that's what we're going to do. So hopefully we can all give these guys the proper respect that they deserve, because they're warriors. You never turn your back on your warriors, no matter what you think about what's going on in the world. At least that's what I believe. You know what I mean? So Old Soldier Meets Young Soldier. I'm finally get to watch it with you guys. So remember to like, subscribe, do it if you guys want. And let's listen to these two warriors have a conversation here. Here we go. Do I have everything set up correctly? Yes. Here we go.
We deployed in Iraq in 2006.
Oops.
We deployed in Iraq
to
Iraq in 2006. We then deployed to Kosovo. From there, we then deployed to Afghanistan.
Well, you've been through quite a lot, son, haven't you?
Seems like it.
Hi,
Hello, young man.
nice to meet you.
How are you?
Pleasure.
Afghanistan, Iraq, and Kosovo. It's a lot.
How you been? You okay?
Not so bad. Yourself?
On the spot.
On the spot.
There's a stack of them here, isn't there?
All right.
Which war did you fight in?
Second World War. My flotilla was the third flotilla, and there was 12 of us. And we took part in the North African campaign, and then we went on to the invasion of Sicily.
How long were you away for?
2 years. In them days, with a different war, you had to go where you were sent, and some lads went to North Africa and went right through and never got home till way after D-Day. The other wars that followed this, it's an entirely different war than what ours was.
He's got is that the accent, I believe that's the accent in southern England in the countryside, kind of southwest from London, right? What is that a, I don't know, is that a, what's that region? Let me look this up. UK accent map. Images. This one. It's like a West Country, a Somerset accent, maybe West Country. By the way, I'm looking at this. This is the if this thing won't try to snap it into the top of my thing here. Map of British dialects, but I was thinking Somerset or West Country probably. If I'm starting to get these accents in order, but I feel like if I ever made a trip to the UK or Ireland, I would have to walk around with this map just to know what I'm getting at here. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's put this back in there. All right, sorry. Let's continue.
I think it goes through generations, doesn't it? It goes from one war to another.
It's frightening to see what happens to these modern wars. You're fighting an enemy you do not know where he is for a start. Like in our war, as long as you were going forward, you were going the right way. But you get in Afghanistan and that, he can come up behind you and you don't know he's there. And from my way of thinking, I wouldn't like to have fought in that war, I'll be honest with you.
See, that's where I think the two change, because I wouldn't like to fight in your war. Because in my eyes, being on a ship...
It's probably safer on a ship, so I can't swim, so...
You can't swim? I thought you were a sailor.
And they never taught me. But where would you swim to? If you're a long way from home, it don't matter whether you could swim or not.
After training, I got to battalion, and then we deployed to Belize.
It's actually pretty true.
We went for 6 weeks in the jungle, training. And that was pre-training for Iraq. We deployed to Iraq in 2006. Yeah, 2006. That was a 6-month tour, turned into a 7-month tour. And we were deployed to Saddam's palace in Basra South, where we patrolled and did strike ops. After there, we come back. I went on to do my promotion. We then deployed to Kosovo. That was peacekeeping. And then from there, we then deployed to Afghanistan, to Herrick 10. So completely different operations altogether, from armoured to foot.
Well, you've been through quite a lot, son, haven't you? What are your feelings towards the enemy now in comparison to at the time? That's a good one, that.
At the time, I didn't, it's weird because I'm going to probably stand out here, is I didn't have any hate for them. I believed that we were fighting in someone else's country and they were defending it in a way. But I think that's one of the other reasons why I left, because I didn't believe in it in the end. I think I fought that hard and I was fighting an enemy so much that I was equal to them. If someone can fight, if someone can get a number of men in front of me and fight me and my men to the extreme that they were fighting us, then hat off to them. What about yourself?
Well, we fought the Germans to win the war. That's what was bred into you. And it took me until about 1970 before I could really, see me way clear. I have nothing against them now. It took me all that time to realise they were the same as us, doing what they had to do.
Have you ever fired a weapon?
Yes.
That seems to be a common theme whenever I see soldiers talk about it, like letting go of that hatred for your former enemy. I know from experience that my grandfather, he never let that go. He fought the Japanese, and to the day he died, he never let that hate go, which is unfortunate, but that kind of stuff really, going through that, it's just insane. And it's like, you would feel really strange to like lecture someone on like letting go of that hate. You really gotta like it. I think the best way for a soldier to be, maybe persuaded is not the word, but be eased into like letting go of the hatred is doing something like this, like these two gentlemen are doing. That would be the best way to do it. But man, that's actually got me really thinking about my grandfather in a lot of ways.
On the landing craft, I was an anti-aircraft gunner. We had 6 Oerlikons and a 12-pounder on her. So I fired that many times through the war. It's a different thing. It's not like firing a rifle. No, like a soldier has to rely on a rifle, doesn't he? Like I had to rely on me anti-aircraft gun. Whenever you're in imminent danger, you're called to action stations. And if the planes come at you, then you have to fight back. And on the Oerlikon, you had a shield, which you look through the gap, so to speak. It always gave you that feeling that they couldn't hit you. But which was a silly way of thinking, but it gave you a bit of feeling of comfort, if you know what I mean.
See, with us, we were just rifles. Rifles, and we had GPMGs, which were 7.62 belt fed, which that most of them...
But you'd be lost without your rifle or your gun, wouldn't you? On the deck.
Afghan had a section, so I had a section of 8 lads, and very, very good lads as well. We would get in 360 ambushes, so we'd get hit by an IED, so you'd have someone from the front, right, left, they're coming from the top of the compound, and they basically just spraying you with rapid fire, with 7.62. Once you got into the firefight, you could never tell what was going to happen, but you always knew it was going to be like a well-oiled machine, the way your SOPs kick into place, the way you know your lads would, they just knew, because of the amount of training you did, we knew exactly what we were doing.
This is actually, it actually makes me happy that a video like this on YouTube has over 40 million views, which means it's touched a lot of people, and I like seeing stuff like that on YouTube, because usually the videos that gain like a lot of traction on YouTube usually tend to be, I would say, adversarial in a lot of ways, but this is very, it seems to me it's very therapeutic and touching to see two completely different generations coming together and just having a well-mannered conversation like this. So kind of makes you even though these two are obviously not my countrymen, it makes me proud to see something like this on YouTube. You know what I mean? Anyway.
How do you think soldiers are viewed in society?
It all depends how the media portrays us. I remember going back, when we were coming back from Iraq, we landed in Teesside, and we had groups of people that weren't happy that we were there, and they were British people, because the media portrayed us as killers, as murderers. Flipping the coin, when we come back from Afghan, we were portrayed as heroes. So the whole country rejoiced to go, "Oh, save our heroes." Obviously, your generation, you were
well,
classed as
I
heroes.
think the war had lasted so long with that they were glad to see the people back home.
Yeah.
And I think most soldiers and sailors, any serviceman, was looked upon, they say thank you to them for getting their freedom in one way. Yeah. They were glad to see the war over. I can understand the difference now. It's a different generation, and but
it's a different war, isn't it?
Well, you find it, I know.
When you're in a war zone, and as you know, you've got that constant stress above your head of what's next, and you're constantly on high alert, and you're constantly irate. It only takes one person to look at you, and you're ready to fight straight away. Hence why when soldiers come back home, someone looks at you the wrong way, you're already in fight mode. It's been 12 years, I'm still in fight mode now. I don't think I'll ever change that. If
you're fighting a war, it's them or us, so to speak. And that's my way of thinking. Yeah. And so let it be.
That's it. But when I was out there, it was my lads. My lads are coming home, no matter what. I don't care who you are, my lads are coming home.
Have you ever lost a member of your company?
I want to answer it, but I don't at the same time, because we've lost quite a lot of lads from our battalion, of our regiment. I'll say regiment because it's 1 RGJ and 2 RGJ. Today is the 10th anniversary for a lad we lost called Paul McAleese. He was my screw. We lost him 10 years today. We've lost quite a lot. Yeah, I think I'll leave it there. Like, don't want to go too much into it. Like, have you ever suffered a serious injury?
I've only had a backflash from the gun, which sometimes with an Orlican, after it gets hot, thing sort of blows and you get a flash, but nothing serious.
Apart from like a few broken sprains and broken wrists and stuff like that, and major one would be probably mentally. And this is, as you know, it's a massive epidemic that's going through the military at the moment, for veterans and for still serving, is mental health. The past 13 years I've really suffered, really suffered. But I've sort of battered it backwards and kept moving forward. You know what I mean? It always kept moving forward. And I think
I know. I know several. Just from high school, I know 3. Well, actually, 2. One of them was from another high school, but I know 3 men who went over to. I think 2 of them were deployed in Afghanistan, and one of them was deployed in Iraq. And all 3 are no longer with us. Committed suicide. So yeah, it's, and I don't think it's gotten much better. But I could be wrong though. But it's very sad, very sad. That's why whenever I run into somebody who serves, even if I don't know the person, I try to treat them with the utmost respect in every way. Even if they don't give it back to me, I just, just let that go, and I show them the proper respect because they've been through a lot, for sure.
with my age now, I've got to the age where it's like, well, I've got my family and all that. It's like, I've got to stay straight, you know what I mean? But it creeps back a lot. It does creep back a lot. I think having my daughter is kicking me up the arse quite hard, like, you know what I mean? But I think if it didn't, I'd probably still be like that, you know what I mean? It's, but I know a lot of lads, a lot of girls, a lot of soldiers are suffering. Do you miss the forces?
Oof, that's a good question. No, I don't think I missed it. I was away about 4.5 years. I served, and I was glad to get out. And no, that's my answer to that. I don't know about yourself.
No. A lot of the lads, their issue with it, they say, oh yeah, I missed the army, I wish I'd go back. I think what it is regimented. They're regimented in such a routine where that is your life, and you do that for 3 to 7 to 22 years. Well, I left, and it was like, oh, I'm struggling here. But it was because it was the unknown. It's, I don't miss it. I miss the lads, and I miss
camaraderie.
Yeah, I miss that.
That's about the only thing you miss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, don't get me wrong, I miss firefights, believe it or not. I miss getting into firefights, I miss weapon handling, I miss teaching it, but that can be replaced by anything. You know what I mean? If you find another passion, another love in life, you replace it with that, you know what I mean? Is there anything you regret about your service?
Not really. Through the years, I am proud to have been a part of it. It took all my youth. If I hadn't have been there, I'd have missed quite a lot. And no, I don't regret it one bit.
I don't think I regret it because it's like I said, it's what I've gained from it. You know what I mean? Mentally, it's been mentally draining once I've got out, but at the same time, it's strengthening at the same time. So where something's suffering, someone else is strengthening. You know what I mean? So I'm becoming a better person.
Well, you want to tell your story. From my point of view, it may be to help the younger generation. They don't know about your war. They don't know about my war. And by coming on this sort of thing, people watch it and they realise it's part of history. I would think so, I hope so.
Well, with me, it's like, for 10 years after getting out, I suffered and I went into a dark place and I kept it to myself. And every time someone mentioned the military or something like that, I'd switch off and walk away. Didn't want to know. And I'm still a little bit like that now.
That's it, yeah. Yeah, I totally understand that. You come home and you hear somebody talking about, subjects that you were directly involved in on a military level, and you don't want to hear it because I would think, like, especially if it's if you've been through that situation with war, you don't want to hear somebody say something that you completely disagree with, or is a fabrication, because I would imagine, like, it would set you off. I know it would set the young man off here. Here's an observation that I'm making, and maybe I could be wrong about this too, but it seems like the elder statesman here seems to be at peace, whereas the guy who's closer to my age seems like he still hasn't. The wounds are still open. That they haven't completely healed yet. You know. It makes me want to talk to that guy and show him a good time. It really does.
But since this year I've started a new project. I've been talking about my career and my story, my mental health and my fight and struggle and all that carry on. It's actually helping me. It's helping me talking about it. But more importantly, there could be someone sat in a dark room right now who hasn't left the house for 2 weeks, and they're scrolling the phone. They come across Lad Bible. They listen to this. They listen to me and you, and they go, "I've been through that. I've seen this," or "That's worse for me," or "That's not as worse for me." And if they stand up and they walk out the front door and they give it a go, then we save one. Then it's worth it. So that's why I talk about my story now. And
well, I wouldn't have known your story if I hadn't have listened to it here, would I? I've learned a lot from you, and I hope our little talk today has helped in that way.
I think it will. Not just the younger generation. I think the eldest as well. Pleasure to meet you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you, son.
Thank
Honest.
you.
I really enjoyed that. I really did. You know what the main thing is that I gather from this, aside from all the stories that they told back and forth to each other, and all that stuff? I think the main thing that I gather from this, we really need to be nicer to each other. We really do. Which is funny to say on an outlet like YouTube, where the things you see the most are always adversarial or confrontational. And then you get something like this where it's two men from different generations coming together, sharing stories and showing appreciation for one another. I think this video should be watched even if you're not interested in military talk. I think just the level of respect that's shown between these two individuals is enough to have it recommended to be watched by anyone. People could learn a lot from that. And it's something you don't see often anymore, or at least not nearly as often as you used to. Am I wrong in saying that? I don't know. But good video. Good video. I'm really glad. Young, thank you for sending that in. I've seen this video pop up in my feed like countless times, and I've never clicked on it because I've wanted to actually sit down and give it the proper respect, and I knew it would be emotional. But not gonna lie, that the last like 20 seconds of that, when they say their goodbyes, is when a little bit of me got choked up inside. You know, maybe you felt the same way. I'm sure this video has brought some people to tears. I wouldn't be surprised about that. But good video, yeah. I could listen to them two talk all day. It's almost like being a part of like a therapy session that you're not directly involved in, yet you feel like you're being healed as well. I think that's what the appeal is. That's probably why this video has gotten 40 million views. So I really am glad I watched that. So good stuff. Anyway, hopefully you guys feel the same. But anyway, remember to watch this on your own if you don't want to watch it with me, because I think this is better to watch on your own anyway. So I'll leave a link for this video in the description below this video for you guys if you want to check it out on your own. Anyway, much love, and I will see you guys again soon. Have a great day and stay safe.